Good morning. It is time to do our Sunday school lesson recap. I am joined by Pastor David Kinnebrew. How are you doing this morning, bro?
Man, I'm well. I'm just excited to be in Sunday school. I'm here for it. Let's go.
Man, let me ask you. What's a good Sunday school memory you can remember from back in the day?
Sister Bernice Brown. She took us to McDonald's during Sunday school one Sunday.
Talk to us, Doc.
Because we grew up at Midway Church there in Folsom. So it was a big thing to go to McDonald's because we had McDonald's in Folsom. Right. So we had to go all the way to Covington to go to McDonald's. And I think we even had the church van, and it was like three of us on the church van. We thought we was doing it. We went all the way to McDonald's for Sunday school, man. That was one of my favorite Sunday school memories. Shout out to Sister Bernice Brown.
And you still remember it?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
I could probably call the roll of most of my Sunday school teachers, but it's all good. Let me not start and get in trouble.
There you go. There you go. Well, our lesson this week, if you already studied your lesson, the lesson is faith without works is dead. Yeah. Coming from James chapter 2, verses 14 through 26. The lesson focuses the actions of the wise flow out of a living faith. The actions of the wise flow out of a living faith. I'm going to jump in first, Pastor, then I'm going to let you go ahead and take over after that. Is that cool?
Let's roll.
Hey, listen, the first outline says a true faith responds. A true faith responds. And it says this in verses 14 through 17. What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith and have not works? Can faith save him? And what I thought was very interesting, Pastor, is when James starts talking about the works, he doesn't start talking about the temple. He doesn't start talking about what we do for God. He talks strictly about how we relate to other people. The example that he gave was, somebody come to you is naked, they need food, and you say, depart in peace, be warm. And literally what you're saying is, I pray for you.
Yeah.
James is saying that ain't enough. That ain't enough. What is really prayer without action? If you think about it, what is prayer without action? We have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to act. And that's where our faith goes into action. God doesn't give us faith just so we can say we have it, but it's to be used. Matter of fact, one question I wrote here at the bottom, and I thought it was a really good question. If you had to prove your Christianity, could you?
Yes, sir. Wow.
If you had to prove it, could you? And what came to my mind was Matthew 25. You remember Matthew 25? It said, when I was in prison, you visited me. When I was, when I was sick, you took care of me. All these things. He said, when did we ever see you? He said, when you did it to the least. That's faith.
Yeah.
Because it shows that you're not waiting for a response from somebody. You're just doing it because of what God has done for you. Listen, let me jump out of here. And the second two outlines, a true faith works and a true faith passes the test. Pastor David, starting at verse 18, just tell me what stood out to you.
Man, there are a couple things that stood out to me. I like how direct James is, right? James is not holding back. James is very direct in what he's saying and being very blunt. I like that. But I also want to pull in where you ended, talking about could you prove your faith, right? Because faith always have evidence. You cannot say you have faith if there is no evidence. Anybody who has real faith, there's always evidence. And I think that's the reason why they put or highlight Abraham in this particular passage and his faith journey, because throughout his life, throughout his narrative, there is evidence that Abraham had faith. The fact that he left his home in Genesis 12, it's a sign of his faith. The fact that he was willing to even sacrifice Isaac is a sign of his faith. And so faith always produces evidence. And there are two other things that I think that jump out at me in these passages. First thing is the proclamation of faith is not enough. The proclamation, just saying you have faith, it's not enough. And James is very clear about that, because I think he suggests to us that there are a lot of people talking faith, claiming faith, but really don't have it, because there's no proof, there's no evidence of the faith that they proclaim. I like what one of the commentators in this week's Sunday school lesson, he uses the phrase that we've all heard: talk is cheap. And I think James is literally saying that the proclamation is not enough. Then also the knowledge is not enough. It points that out when it talks about even the demons believe in God. Right? Even demons. So you can be talking faith, you can even have the knowledge of who God is, but those things have to be backed up, and those things in a sense are proven, and the evidence is the action which follows those proclamations, the action that follows the knowledge of God. So as we discover who God is, the evidence of that is how we live out our life. As we grow our faith in God, the evidence of that is how we live our life. When I was thinking about this, it reminded me of one of the things that kind of jumped out to me, the importance of actually having this evidence. A couple months ago, I bought my first pair of Jordans, right? And I bought my first pair of Jordans. Shout out to Justin Monday, my shoe connect. I just want to throw that out there. I bought my first pair of Jordans, and I was excited about it. And it's interesting. Here it is. It's interesting that when I tell people I have Jordans, no one ever believes me because they've never seen me wear Jordans. Usually when they see me, I'm in Chuck Taylors or I'm in some Nike running shoes. So no one usually believes that I own a pair of Jordans, but I do. But the truth is, since I purchased those Jordans, I've never worn them. They've been in the box. I've never worn them. So the fact that I have it is one thing, but the fact that I don't use them is a whole nother thing. And I think a lot of us are like that as it comes to our faith. We have it, but we don't even use it. And since we don't use it, nobody believes we actually have it. I believe it's important for believers as we live out our life in our day-to-day basis that we prove to the world, we show the world, there should be proof that people don't even have to question whether you have faith, but because they've seen how you act, they've seen how you talk, they've seen how you treat other people, they see how you meet the needs of the needy, they see your sacrifice and your dedication to the church. They see how you work. They see how you love on people. And because of what they've seen, they don't have to question your faith because the faith that you have is evident through your action. And I believe James really wants us to get that faith without works is dead. If you say you have faith, there must be some accompanying actions along with it. So that's what really jumped out at me.
Wow. Let me ask you this question based on what you said. Now, are you saying that all faith produces fruit?
Yes, I'm willing to say that. Yes, it produces fruit. Now, that fruit may look different.
Right.
That fruit may go to the Hebrews 11, what we call a Hall of Fame of faith. The fruit of each of those individuals' faith looks different, right? So, and in all of our lives, like, God may tell you some of us to do some crazy or extraordinary things, or things that are out the normal. And because of our faith, we are obedient to those things. But for some of us, God may tell us to do something very simple. It may not get a lot of attention. People may look over it. But you doing that, being obedient to that, is the fruit of your faith. So whether it's something that's apparent or something that no one else knows, your faith always produces something.
Wow. Listen, this lesson is so full of truth. And I know in your Sunday school classes that you all are going to pull out even more truth. So we thank Pastor David for joining us. Remember, Sunday school is important. Study to show thyself approved. So make sure that you continue to build those spiritual muscles so that you can fight against this enemy that we have in the devil. Continue praying for your local churches. Continue supporting your local church streams. All of those things. Continue supporting your church financially also, that God may be pleased in that regard. Pastor David, if they forget everything else we've said on this call, what's the one nugget people should walk away with?
My faith should produce some evidence.
My faith should produce some evidence. Man, we want to thank y'all for joining us, but I know y'all want to know the same thing I want to know, so I'm going to ask Pastor David one more question. Why you not wearing the Jordans?
I mean, I mean, it's got to be right. I just had I bought them because I like them, and there's another pair I have my eye on that I'll probably get soon. But yeah, I don't know. I just haven't. Right now, they're kind of like a trophy. I have a couple pair of shoes that I have that I've never worn that I'm gonna wear them one day. I'm gonna wear them one day.
We'll talk offline. Y'all take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.